Welcome back. You're watching the Fox Business Network. We're coming into the bottom of the hour. The Washington Post editorial board does a flip-flop, a 180. It's now calling on the U.S. to, quote, get serious about probing the origins of the pandemic. Joining us now, Accuracy and Media President Adam Guillette. You know, Adam, it's good to see you. The Washington Post had been saying for a long time, even this year, that this theory was debunked, just a conspiracy theory. So why the 180?
Well, I'm sure it has nothing to do with the fact that we have a different occupant of the White House. It's amazing that whenever Trump said anything, they had to immediately call it a conspiracy theory. They had to immediately say it was debunked. But now when Biden and other people say the exact same thing, well, they say there might be some credence to it. It's outrageous. Their job is to investigate, to speak truth to power. They have all of the resources of Jeff Bezos at the Washington Post. Why couldn't they have been investigating this last year?
Now the Washington Post editorial board is also saying, get to the bottom of how this pandemic happened. Find out if it leaked from the Wuhan lab. Figure it out, because we don't want it to happen again. 4 million people killed worldwide, 600,000 Americans now dead. The Democrats in Congress not doing anything, though. Do you think they're going to listen to the Washington Post now?
No. They're never going to be afraid of the Washington Post, because they know deep down in their hearts of the Washington Post, they're the allies of the Democratic Party. They're the PR machine for the Democratic Party, so they don't have much to fear from them. But it's unbelievable that it took a year for them to call for an investigation into this. And why are they merely calling for the investigation rather than just doing it themselves? They've got resources. What happened to good old-fashioned investigative journalism? All we see at the Washington Post is clickbait journalism, where they write left-wing articles for their left-wing audience, as well as activist journalism where they try to push an agenda. They spent a year behaving like this was Chernobyl and that there was nothing to see, and that anybody who suggested otherwise was, a conspiracy theorist and a QAnon type. They were lying to us about what might be one of the greatest truths of our lives.
Okay, let's watch this. Let's stay on what you just were pointing out. First, the media, as you point out, called the Wuhan lab leak possibility tinfoil hat stuff. Now, major scientists from around the world, the WHO, the National Livermore Laboratory, says, yeah, investigate it. And now watch this. The media says it's Trump's fault that the media itself refused to investigate this possibility to begin with. Let's watch this.
I do think it's important to remember that part of the issue when this was first being reported on and discussed back a few months after the pandemic had begun was that then President Trump and Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of State, both suggested they had seen evidence that this was formed in a lab, and they also suggested it was not released on purpose, but they refused to release the evidence showing what it was. And so because of that, that made this instantly political.
I think it's safe to say that for many in the scientific community, there was almost a kind of allergic reaction to the suggestion of a lab leak, because it sounded more like something that Donald Trump was trying to deploy as a political deflection to take attention off his own administration's faulty responses to the pandemic.
Trumpers who were complicit in playing down the pandemic reality in America are now seeing more interest in the China lab theory as some kind of vindication.
Forgive me for overstepping. Critics might say this is really serious journalistic malpractice, right? And you take out the word Trump and you just keep those sound bites. You have to say, what were their viewers listening to? How seriously were they misled? Did they stop the potentiality that China created this lab virus, or maybe it just leaked out of the lab and it killed people around the world? Why not investigate everything so it doesn't happen again? Why did the media fall down on the job here?
Well, because it was the old rule. If Trump was for something, they had to be against it. If Trump encouraged Americans to breathe oxygen, these journalists would have asphyxiated themselves. So there was no chance that they were going to say, Trump might be onto something, we better look into it. And that's terrifying. Their job is to inform us. We had the biggest story perhaps of our lifetime. Rather than investigating, rather than informing people, they were misinforming people and lying. It's not just journalistic malpractice. I would say it's unethical and immoral. We're actually doing an action alert on this right now at Accuracy and Media on our website, where you can send one message that goes to all of these journalists who called us conspiracy theorists, who said we were wearing tinfoil hats, and you can tell them what you think about what they did. I think the American people deserve an explanation for why we were misled by the media and what they're going to do to prevent it from happening again.
All right, Adam Guillette, it's good to see you. Come back soon.